Alright everyone, welcome to how to use a multiplication chart to multiply and divide. So let's say I have a problem like 3 times 7. If I look at my chart, I can put one finger on my 3, which is one factor, my other factor is 7, and I look where they meet, which is 21. Let's try another one. If I have 6 times 12, I put one finger on my 6, one finger on my 12, and I look, where do they meet? Right here at 72. Okay? On your own, I would like you to try this problem. 8 times 9. Okay? Use your multiplication chart. Put one finger on the 8, one finger on the 9, and show me where they meet. Go ahead and do that now. Hopefully you got that right. You're able to put one finger on the 8 and one on the 9 and come down here and see they meet at 72. Okay? Multiplication is the easy one. Division is where it gets a little tricky. Okay? Let's say I have a problem like 36 divided by 4. For this step, I know I want to find 36. I want to find how many times 4 can go into 36. So I'm going to put my finger on my 4 because that is my number I'm dividing by. And I'm going to look until I find 36. Once I find 36, I go up and I see how many times is that. And it takes me 9 times. Sorry. So my answer is 9. Okay? Once again, if I have a problem like, let's do 81 divided by 9. I'm going to put my finger on the 9 because I'm dividing by 9. I'm going to search for my total, which is 81. Okay, I found it. I bring my finger all the way up, and that tells me it's 9. So it is 9 times that can go into it. On your own, I want you to try this problem. Let's do 48 divided by 6. So put your finger on the 6 and look on that 6 line for 48. Okay, we're back, so let's look. 6 can go into 48 8 times. So my answer is 8. Alright. Now, that was pretty easy. Now let's talk about a long division problem and how that would work. So here's my long division symbol, right? Let's just do a simple one. Let's say 16 divided by 2. That's the same thing as saying this. These are both the same. Okay, they're both the same. So don't get stressed out when you see this symbol. It means the same thing. I go to my 2. Oops, my camera's even blurry. There you go. I go to my 2. I look for 16. It takes me 8 times. When I write my answer, I write it above the 6. Because that shows me, hey, I didn't just go to 1, I did the whole 16. I do 8 times 2. That gives me, and I can do it again, but I just did it, 16. I subtract them. It gives me 0. I have no remainder. Okay, so my answer is just 8. Let's try another division problem like that, a long division problem. There's my division symbol. Let's try 48 divided by 6. Remember, that's the same thing as saying this. Saying 48 divided by 6. They're the same thing. Or, what times 6 equals 48? It's all the same. So I go to my 6. I look down the line to find 48. And that's 8 times. Put my 8 up top. 8 times 6 is 48. We just did it, so I know it. 8 times 6 is 48. I subtract, gives me 0 and 0. So my answer, once again, is 8. Let's try one that's a little harder. Let's see if you can do this on your own. Let's take 63 divided by 7. So put your finger on the 7 and see if you can find where it goes in to 63. Go ahead and do that now on your board. Okay, if I go to 7 and I look for 63, I go up and it's 9 times for 63. Okay, I multiply. 9 times 7 is 63. I subtract, it gives me zeros. So my answer is 9. Okay, let's talk about one that's not so nice. What if I have a problem like 28 divided by 2? So for this one, I can look at my 2 and I can go and it won't show me 28. Okay? So I'll have to think. Let's start small. Let's look at the tens place right here. Can 2 go into 2? That's my question. So I'm going to go right here, 2, and I'm going to look for this first number, 2. It's right there. How many times is that? Just 1 time. I multiply. 2 times 1 is 2. I subtract. I get a 0. And then I bring down what I have left, which is 8. Now I look. I'm still dividing by 2. How many times can 2 go into 8? So I'm going to go here again. Here's my 2. I'm going to find my 8. It is 4 times. 4 times 2 is 8. I subtract. That gives me 0. See if I can make this a little bigger. Okay. My answer is up top. It is 14. Let's try another one just like that, and then I'll give you one to try on your own. Let's try, let's go 86 divided, let's do 88 divided by 2. Okay? I look at my, so I know I can't find 88 on my chart, right? It only goes up to 24 for the 2's. So I need to look at my first number in the tens place. It's 8. How many times can 2 go into 8? I go to my 2 and I find 8. I go up, it's 4 times. I multiply. 4 times 2 is 8. I subtract them, 0, and I bring down my 8. Once again, I look. How many times can 2 go into 8? I just did that. I just did that right then, and I got 4. My answer's not going to change. I'm going to put another 4 up top. 4 times 2 is 8. I subtract it. It gives me 0. So my answer is 44. Here's one I want you to try on your own. Okay? Let's do 63 divided by 3. So remember, you're going to look and see how many times 3 can go into 6. And then how many times 3 go into 3. Go ahead and solve that now. Alright, let's look together. 3 can go into 6. Let's look. 3 can go into 6 2 times. So there's my 2. I multiply. 2 times 3. I just figured it out. 2 times 3 is 6. So I put it underneath gives me a 0. I bring down my 3. I look now. How many times can 3 go into 3? 3 can go into 3 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. We just did that. I subtract them, and I get a 0 remainder. Those were all nice and easy because they went in perfectly. What happens when it doesn't go in perfectly? Let's try one like this. 92 divided by 4. Okay, so I have to look. How many times does 4 go into 9? I put my marker on my 4, or my pen, my hand, and look, what's the closest I can get to this 9 without going over? So I look. 4, 8, 12. 12's too big. Has to be 8. That is only 2 times. I multiply. 2 times 4, I just said, was 8. I subtract it to see what I have left over. That's a 1, and I bring down my 2. Now I think, how many times can 4 go into 12? Because that's my new number. I put my finger on the 4 and I count. 4, 8, 12. Up, right there, 4, 8, 12. I look up. It's 3 times. 3 times 4, we just said. 4, 8, 12. I subtract it. I get 0 at the bottom, which means I have no remainder. And there's my problem. 23 is my answer. Let's do one more together, and then I'll give you one more to do on your own. Let's do 75 divided by 5. Because I'm dividing by 5, I'm going to look at my 5s. I'm going to see how close can I get to 7. Oops, stop being weird, camera. There we go. How close can I get to 7 without going over? Let's count. 5, 10, 15. Well, 15's way too big. 10's still too big. So it has to be just 5, which is only 1 time. 1 times 5 is 5. I subtract. 7 minus 5 will give me 2. And I bring down my 5. Now I look. How many times can 5 go into 25? 5 can go into 25. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. That's 5 times. So I put my 5 up top. I look. 5 times 5, because I just want to do this one 5. 5 times 5 gave me 25. That's what I just found on my chart. I subtract. It gives me 0 for a remainder. Alright? Here's one you can do on your own. Let's do 42 divided by 3. See if you can find this answer for your own, on your own. Okay, hopefully you have a chance to do that. 3 can go into 4 one time. All right? 3 can go into 4 one time because I can't go higher. 1 times 3 is 3. I subtract it. That gives me a 1, and I bring down my 2. 3 can go into 12. 3, 6, 9, 12. 4 times. 4 times 3 is 12. I subtract. That gives me 0. I am left with 14. Okay. That's it for this video. If you're finished, go ahead and answer the questions I'm going to have after this video, and you're set to go.